How the looming deadline of the national eviction moratorium is impacting a local assistance organization.
President-elect Joe Biden pushes for his defense secretary nominee. I'm Natalie Brandon Wilmington with why his historic pick faces an extra hurdle in Congress, plus the latest on COVID relief negotiations.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
An eviction moratorium put in place by the CDC is set to expire at the end of the year. This is KOAM News at 5. The moratorium temporarily stopped evictions for people who were behind on rent who had been impacted by COVID-19 and met certain criteria. It was designed to keep people from becoming homeless or having to enter shelter facilities, which could have increased the risk of spreading COVID-19. Tenants are still required to pay rent and follow all terms of their lease agreement, but the moratorium would stop landlords from evicting you if you were behind and met the criteria. Many have turned to places like the Economic Security Corporation in Joplin for assistance.
Right now, between my 5 staff that are doing applications for rental assistance, they're working through about 50 requests for assistance, and I know that that number is going to grow. We've spent just in the past 4 days almost $12,000 helping about 12 different families so far, and I just know that number is going to increase.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more about what the ESC is doing and what happens when the moratorium expires. The Parsons Police Department in Kansas hopes to curb theft and shoplifting this holiday season. The department is kicking off Operation Santa Watch. Starting this Friday, officers are going to be doing random checks at convenience stores to see if managers are having issues with shoplifting. They will also be doing patrols inside of parking lots to deter theft from cars and shoplifting. They hope the new program will make a difference in one of their busiest times of the year.
I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is going to stop a lot of the theft reports that we have to take during this time of year, especially shoplifting reports that we typically take. It's not something that's very difficult, so I do have a lot of officers that are willing to help out with it, which is great. So I think it's going to be successful.
The program will run through the 31st tonight at 6. We're going to hear from the owner of a local pawn shop who's excited about this idea. Doug Hetty joining us now with our first look at weather. Unreal today. I'm enjoying it. It's just unreal.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Our temperature is great for us today as we went near 70 for an afternoon high. Plenty of sunshine across the region. We have clear skies now. A very nice evening. Of course, our temperature is going to be dropping back. But you can see clear skies across the entire Central Plains. But our next storm system starting to get organized out across the western third of the country. And that will start to affect us by Friday, but we still have another great day ahead. Most of us right now still sitting 60 to about 65 degrees. As we work through the overnight hours, we'll get a few clouds in here and eventually we'll drop back near 40. But overall, it looks fantastic. 49 by 8, 42 by midnight will bottom out at about 38 to 40 degrees. Of course, we'll look at that next storm system here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. The President-elect and Vice President-elect introduced their historic pick for Defense Secretary, but the nomination is already getting pushback on Capitol Hill. Federal lawmakers are also at odds over a COVID relief bill as the White House weighs in with its own nearly $1 billion proposal. Reporter Natalie Brand is in Wilmington, Delaware now with more.
Good afternoon.
President-elect Joe Biden took the stage with his nominee for Defense Secretary, retired 4-star Army General Lloyd Austin. If confirmed, he would become the first black man to lead the Pentagon.
I know this man. I know his respect for our Constitution. I know his respect for our system of government.
You can expect that as Secretary of Defense that I will give you the same direct and unvarnished counsel.
But General Austin, who retired from active service 4 years ago, will need a congressional waiver to exempt him from a federal law requiring defense secretaries to be out of uniform for 7 years. While congressional Democrats have praised the historic nature of the nomination, some are expressing concern about passing another waiver, having done so for President Trump's former defense secretary, James Mattis.
I believe in the importance of civilian control of the military. So does the Secretary-designate, Austin.
President-elect Biden is counting on his defense secretary to oversee the military and help with distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. Mr. Biden has vowed to give out 100 million doses in his first 100 days in office. On Capitol Hill, Congress remains deadlocked over a COVID relief package. The sticking points have been liability protections pushed by Republicans and state and local funding demanded by Democrats.
Negotiating 101 suggests we set those two controversial pieces aside and plow ahead with a huge pile of things that we agree on.
The White House has offered a $916 billion package that includes both, but Democrats want more funding for unemployment insurance in that proposal. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
President-elect Biden has tapped former Ohio Congresswoman Marcia Fudge to be the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development and former Obama administration Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack to return to that role. So far, Biden has named 12 cabinet officials, including 8 minorities and 6 women. The key FDA panel meets tomorrow to review what could be the first approved coronavirus vaccine here in the U.S. This comes as 15 million people have now been infected with COVID-19 in the U.S., and each day there are more than 200,000 new cases. Still ahead, the year's top internet searches.
If you Googled how to trim your hair or where to buy toilet paper, you're right on trend. I'm Mitzi Chen with a look at Google's year in search.
And next in Health Watch, what new research is showing about young children being impacted by depression during the pandemic. Healthcare workers are 7 times more likely to battle severe COVID-19 cases compared to people with non-essential jobs. That's all according to British researchers who also discovered people working in transportation and social services suffer from severe coronavirus at twice the average rate. Findings show women, blacks, and Asians were disproportionately impacted. New results on a possible COVID-19 vaccine from Oxford University and AstraZeneca suggest it's safe and about 70% effective, but questions remain about how well it may help those 55 and older. The Lancet Medical Journal published partial results from tests of the vaccine in the United Kingdom, Brazil, and South Africa yesterday. Well, the coronavirus lockdown has taken a heavy toll on mental health, even in kids. New research out of Britain suggests depression is hitting children as young as 7. Tina Cross reports from London.
Hannah Smith and her cheer squad were headed to the Idaho State competition as defending champions, but COVID-19 canceled the big event.
It was really just frustrating and super hard because that's what we'd worked for all year long.
This normally super sociable 17-year-old found herself isolated and alone.
But I had no motivation for really anything, and not even schoolwork. It was just whatever, I didn't care. I didn't get up and do anything.
A new study in Britain shows school lockdowns are having a big effect on children's mental health.
And we found a quite substantial increase in ratings of depressive symptoms during lockdown.
Developmental psychologist Duncan Astle and his team tracked about 200 elementary students before and after lockdown and found a 70% chance symptoms of depression got worse in isolation.
What the data suggests is that you can't simply just pluck a child from one context and isolate them from it without it having knock-on consequences.
It's scary to watch your child enter into mentally a place that you don't know how to deal with. And knowing what can happen, suicide is a very real threat.
1 month into lockdown, Hannah suffered a devastating loss when her best friend took his own life.
We all had to grieve alone.
Now she's planning to become a paramedic to help save lives.
It really kind of also motivated me to keep going, to succeed for the both of us and to live my life for the both of us just to the fullest.
She found help from counseling and cheering, which she hopes may once again draw crowds in the new year. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Hannah says counseling was challenging to find during the lockdown, but it turns out her cheer coach is a licensed counselor who was able to help. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and a little later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about hamsters.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great day for us today. We've been significantly warmer. We've been warming up each day. but most of us upper 60s to near 70 during the afternoon, which is really hard to beat. We're going to have another great day tomorrow. Then rain's going to start to work in over the weekend, even some snow chances as we head into the weekend. So we are going to have some changes, so make sure you enjoy Thursday before, of course, we cool off. Anytime you warm up in the middle of the winter, well, I guess the beginning of winter, you always go back down, but it's still pretty good right now. 60 in Chanute, 61 in Welch, 61 in Miami, Pitt, 64 in Neosho, and we'll slowly drop back through the evening hours, but it looks good looking southeast from the station. 61 southwest winds are light. Pressure is slowly rising. Humidity is pretty low at 36%. We'll drop back through the 50s, 40s. I think most of us have been kind of in that 38 to about 40 degree range for us later on tonight. But clear skies, nothing is going on here. In fact, the entire Central Plains, we have clear skies. So we have to go west. We've been watching this system spinning just south of Los Angeles really for all week long. It hasn't moved at all. But if you look at the system behind it, just to the west of Portland, that's finally going to boot this guy out into the Central Plains, and that's when we're going to start to see some changes. So let's go through time tonight. Looks pretty good. We'll have mostly clear skies, upper 30s for overnight lows. As we head into Thursday, just a fantastic day. Maybe a little bit breezier, but fantastic. 40 at 6, 68 by noon, 73 degrees, near record highs for us tomorrow afternoon. The southwest winds at about 5 to 10. So really just about perfect. We're going to have plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow night, clouds will start to thicken up. So here's 5:30 in the morning on Friday. You can see our northern counties have the blue northerly winds. Our southern counties have the red southerly winds. So we are going to have a front right across the region. That front is going to kind of sit along the I-44 corridor during the daytime hours on Friday, and it's going to produce rain. So here's 11 a.m., rain really increasing, temperatures dropping into the 40s. We can have periods of heavy rain at time as we head into Friday evening. As we go into Friday night, it kind of switches over more to light rain. You can see where the pink and the blue is to our northwest, and that's going to be mixing with and changing with snow. Here's 1 p.m. on Saturday. We're right on the backside of the system. We could mix with a little bit of snow, but it doesn't look like a big deal at this point in time. I kind of want to watch the second wave that moves in on Sunday. It slides to our south, but that could give us a little bit of snow. So we got to watch these two systems as we work into the weekend. I think the best shot for accumulating snow, though, is going to be in our far northwestern counties, but of course something we'll watch over the next couple days. 72 for us tomorrow, fantastic. 54 on Friday, but dropping into the 40s. A high of only 39 Saturday, a little rain-snow mix. Could see a few flurries or light snow showers on Sunday, high temp of only 40, and then some rain chances back in Tuesday and Wednesday. So make sure if you didn't get outside today, allot some time tomorrow to get outside and enjoy it.
For the first time, this is something unusual in 2020 that I actually like. I'm willing to accept, right?
Yeah, it's been a crazy year.
It has. Thought we'd catch it a little bit. Thank you. Coming up at 6. All right, the KOAM Morning Show is looking to help out Santa this Christmas. Here's what we're doing. We're asking you to send in your kids' Christmas list and some basic information as well. And beginning on the 17th, okay, our morning show will interview Santa, and he will read off the lists. You can learn more by going to the morning show page on our website or on the KOAM News Now mobile app. Coming up, a look at the year's top Google searches. But first, we pause to honor a local World War II veteran. Glenn Lotman served in the U.S. Army Air Corps from 1943 to 46. The Pittsburgh native was stationed in Africa, the Middle East, also Germany. And we are proud to salute aerial engineer Glenn Lotman, a 4-state hero. Holiday shipping deadlines are looming. If you want your packages to arrive in time for Christmas, listen up. The deadline for ground shipping is December 15th for UPS, FedEx, and the Postal Service. You have until December 19th to ship via priority mail through the Postal Service, and you can ship as late as December 22nd for UPS and FedEx second day air, or December 23rd for UPS next day air and FedEx priority overnight. Well, despite warnings from the CDC, more than a fifth of Americans were not at home on Thanksgiving. That's according to mobile phone location data from SafeGraph. Several states with COVID-19 hotspots saw some of the most travel, including North and South Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming. Well, the restaurant industry continues to suffer as this pandemic rages on. 10,000 establishments across the U.S. have closed temporarily or permanently since the start of September. Advocates are calling on lawmakers to approve $120 billion in assistance for the industry. If you want to know what people were thinking about in 2020, just ask Google. We ask Google about everything else, right? Search engine Behemoth is out with its Year in Search data, which shows in 2020 Americans were interested in everything from election results to sourdough bread. Reporter Nancy Chen takes a look at the top trends.
With trillions of searches each year, Google knows what's on everyone's mind.
Why was searched more than ever?
2020's top trending searches reveal both the obvious,
election results and coronavirus,
and the unexpected.
Why were chainsaws invented?
In this pandemic year, many Americans in lockdown encountered new challenges. Molly Vandenberg is Google's trends expert.
You have how to cut men's hair at home, how to color your hair at home, and also how to wash your hands. Also, where to buy toilet paper, where to buy face masks.
Virtual field trips provided families with much-needed escapes, and sourdough's popularity rose to new heights.
I've found myself falling in love with sourdough. Actually, I have nothing to do.
And in case you forgot, 2020 actually began before the pandemic.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that.
Shakira was the top trending musical artist, thanks to her headlining halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Crash into the wall.
And race car driver Ryan Newman topped the athletes list after his horrific crash at the Daytona 500.
He went on to talk about what the accident meant to him and how he was going to react as a result. People continued to be interested in him as a topic.
The top 3 how to help search trends were for Australia fires, Black Lives Matter, and the coronavirus.
There's so much empathy and a lot of good in the world, and people are looking for ways to help.
Offering some inspiration for what we might Google in the new year. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Just in case if you're wondering, Google's methodology calculates the greatest increase in searches over a sustained period in this year compared to last. Final check of the forecast next. CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear more from the Economic Security Corporation on the eviction moratorium ending. Plus, the Kansas State Board of Education updates its guidance on schools opening during the pandemic. And Webb City High School football coach John Roderick is selected to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Big honors right there. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Veterinarians help all kinds of pets with all kinds of issues, right? But you might wonder sometimes if the vet can help your pet. Today's question for our pet vet on call: do veterinarians treat hamsters?
Well, yes, of course we do. Fortunately for the owner, hamsters very seldom require annual vaccinations. In fact, they don't require annual vaccinations, and they're rarely, if seldomly, spayed or neutered. So, with proper nutrition and husbandry, you may never need a veterinarian. The most common things that we see are stress-induced diarrhea that can be fatal, and dental problems because their teeth grow continuously. So there again, good nutrition, good husbandry, and you may never need a veterinarian.
Thanks for the question. If you have a question, whether it's about a weird habit of your pet or a health concern, just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. Now let's check our picks of the litter for this week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen Georgie. Nice smile right there, an adult male Labrador Retriever mix. And from the Southeast Kansas Society, we've chosen this 6-month-old female Apple, Sweetie. If you're looking for a pet, please check out your local Humane Society. Doug Hetty joining us now with our final check of the forecast. Beautiful.
Yeah, it looks fantastic as we work through the rest of the evening hours, eventually down to about 38 or 40. So a cold night, but another fantastic day tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies, 72. Rain works in on Friday. Could mix with a little bit of snow on Saturday. Doesn't look like a big deal. We'll watch another system on Sunday.
Doug, thank you. Thank you for joining us for CBS Evening News proactively. Thank you for joining us for KOAM News at 5. Of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. Until then, have a great evening.